And we're back with another chat. I'm here with Jill K.
Yes.
Jill, what's going on? Woo. We were just talking a little bit before we came on air. I know Jill from a basketball league that I used to work at. She was our star statistician. I can always rely on Jill to make sure the stats were. So the league that we worked at was, it was basically, there was a couple leagues that were in Chicago that the players were pretty good, but the main concept of the league was bad basketball players. And we kept their stats and made sure that like they felt like they were a pro basketball player.
And they definitely made sure that if I had one stat wrong, I would get they would make sure that I would get everything right.
So I give you a lot of credit because one, you had to watch sort of bad basketball, and two, put up with these people who really cared about their stats, which I give them credit. I mean, like some of them paid, some of them didn't pay, but you had to basically like tell them they didn't have a rebound when they had it. Like, and I would just come by the table and be like, if someone gives you a hard time, give them a rebound, give them a steal. Like, ultimately, what the fuck does it matter?
Because, the NBA was just waiting outside the gym ready to sign them.
Exactly, right?
I'm like, dude, no, you don't need to post your stats on Facebook. You're 35. Mm-hmm. You're 35. They're not coming for you, man.
So
they're not coming for you.
I appreciate your temper there. And something we were talking about a little bit before we got on air, and why I wanted to talk to you is because I feel like we have sort of like a similar trajectory of our like live paths. Yeah. Like I follow you on social media, and you have a daughter, you have a husband who's very good at basketball too. That's how I know both of you guys. He actually played in the league. But I wanted to just give you the floor to just introduce yourself and sort of just talk about maybe yourself for a second.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we met, and I would have to agree with you too. Like, even when I watch your Instagram videos and stuff, and like even the music that you post, I'm like, Corin, why were we never friends? I mean, obviously you grew up in New York, but yeah. So I feel like we've just kept in touch synonymously through social media, which is cool. And if we want to jump into like basketball, I was heavy into basketball. I played throughout my whole life. Like, I come from a basketball family. My brother walked on for the University of Illinois. My dad played for the University of Kansas. My sister is a coach now she's the assistant varsity coach at Hampshire for boys. Damn. Which is very unique. And then Paul is a standout basketball player still to this day. I mean, even when he plays like pickup gym, he's very just a great player to watch. Mm-hmm. I played, but I would say I was more talented in coaching. I got heavy into coaching. I started off at Streamwood, and then I took a job at a small private school in Elgin working in the athletic department. And then that was my first experience coaching varsity girls. And then I ran a program for Streamwood High School, like their feeder program. I ran it through boys. And dude, I love coaching. I really, really do. And especially basketball. It takes grit to be a woman coaching boys. Mm-hmm. And I ran AAU programs. I coached kids from Hoffman Estates High School, and like I see those kids and they just graduated high school, and I started coaching them when they were in 8th grade, and I'm like, why am I getting so old? Like, this is crazy. So I would say like I wasn't some standout basketball player, but coaching wise, I think I really put effort into coaching. And it was just, and I think that's why Paul and I connect too. Like, when I was a freshman in high school, Paul was a senior. So we'd never dated in high school, but he was the same age as my sister. Mm-hmm. So I was like watching him in the stands, like being that freshman girl in awe of like.
Number one in my hearts and number one in your book.
Yeah, the basketball star. And then we ended up like dating when I turned 21, and we just like hit it off. And yeah, dude, it's crazy. And then like I've met so many people through basketball and coaching, and like just coaches and referees and officials, and kind of like the sneaky shit that they do. And it's just, dude, it's entertaining. And like, I know that you said that we might discuss like the WNBA and the NBA, but yeah, dude, I seriously really don't keep up with any of that. Like, I think that Paul and I really like just watching high school basketball, especially when we were both coaching. Like, this will be the second year that we've both not coached. When I got pregnant with Brady, sorry, I'm like bouncing all over the place.
No, it's fine.
when I got pregnant with Brady, I quit my job and I didn't know I was pregnant. Okay, so
not like one of those Discovery shows where it's like they have their baby on the toilet or something like that, right? Like,
dude. Okay, I didn't know. I found out 3 days later after I had left my job. So I quit my job not knowing that I was pregnant. Okay, full-time job, salary.
What was the reason for leaving the job, if I could ask?
I took a job coaching at a big 4A public school as a head coach. Like, I was finally given the opportunity to coach as a head coach, thinking that I would get a job within the school somehow, whether it would be like a teaching assistant, just kind of work my way into the building. So I took this coaching job not knowing that I was pregnant. Then I found out 3 days later after quitting my job, and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? I'm pregnant and I'm going to be coaching this new team. So I was at summer camp pregnant. Okay. And then 9 days before my season started, I had Brady.
Wow.
Corin, it was the worst coaching I've ever done in my entire life because frankly, I didn't have the energy to care.
100%. I mean, yeah, you were going through a pregnancy.
Oh my God. I was in such postpartum depression and shock that the last thing I wanted to do was coach a fucking basketball game.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Off of, because I feel like our daughters are the same age.
Yep.
And not only was I coaching, but so was Paul. So it was two head basketball coaches in a household. And I don't know if anybody out there understands coaching. It takes up all your time.
Coaching or being pregnant. I've seen my wife be pregnant and just the different stages of the first trimester versus the second trimester versus how tired you are in the first trimester versus you get some energy back in the second trimester. When I see my wife, when I saw her going through that, it's almost just I think I can fathom what's going on. You're tired, but we still have a life to live. So get over that shit. But it's no, it doesn't work like that. I'm fucking tired and
beyond.
Yeah.
My fucking feet are swelling so much that they want to pop.
Yep.
And it's not even that you're pregnant, you gain all that weight, dude. I gained so much weight. I was just fat, just fat and pregnant, and then you have to have this energy and this vibrance about you, especially when you're jumping into a public school program with 3,000 kids in the school. And I took over a program where the coach was at that school for 10 years. And, I was an outside coach, which it's political there. I mean, it's unheard of that you hire a head coach that's outside of the building. How can you connect with the kids? But I genuinely thought that I would kind of weasel my way. And I don't have a teaching cert or anything like that, but I thought working in an athletic department, maybe being a secretary somewhere, just getting my feet wet. And that ended up not happening. So not only was I...
But you did get the position though, right? So I mean, what do you mean?
I got the position. Yes, I got the position, but I didn't get a full-time job. So I had no full-time job. I was just coaching.
Yeah, but did you expect to get a full-time job right off the bat, or was your goal to get the coaching job and then maybe
it was kind of throughout the summer before the coaching started?
Okay.
When I was pregnant, the athletic director and kind of the administrators at the school were trying to figure out a place for me to fit. But then after talking with Paul and then we had the baby, it was dude, there's no way that we can do this. So it was extremely hard, not only having the baby, but financially. We went from a 2 salary income to 1.
Let me take a step back.
Okay.
So one, I wanna get to know little Jill for a second, because I've got a daughter that I'm raising. I want her to be in the WNBA and get a college basketball scholarship and be into basketball. But right now we were talking beforehand that, and we'll get more into our daughters, but they're fascinated on Elmo, and I feel girls are just maybe gravitated towards it's just natural instincts to put a doll in her hand or do something girly related. Now you seem like you have a very hard sport family background with all the coaching and people there, so it's almost like you were sort of just driven to live in that world. But what are some things when you were a young kid that you can remember you feel steered you towards sports a little bit more than girly stuff for say?
Okay, I honestly think I feel like so many girls say this. I had so many guy friends growing up.
Mhm.
Like me and my one childhood best friend Sarah, we're like this. She moved into my old house when I was 3, so we've been like tight since we were 3 years old.
Mhm.
We always hung around with the guys, like the dudes, whether it was playing like kick the can at school or wall ball or playing baseball, whatever. It was always like kind of that drive to like be better than the boys at sports. And I think I just naturally had that. I don't know. Like my parents, my mom was never like an athlete.
Mhm.
She was always like a worker. And my dad, I don't think he really pushed. Like I did cheerleading, I rode horses, I did tumbling, gymnastics, all of that. But the thing I really stuck with was basketball. And I think that's because my dad.
Mhm.
But he wasn't pushing me in a way to be like, you need to be a basketball player. It was because he would show me all of, he's still to this day, he grew up in Southern Illinois. He's still to this day the #1 leading scorer in his high school.
Wow.
That was even before my dad is old. This was before the 3-point line was even a thing in basketball.
Damn.
Yeah. So he's 72. He's still like nobody's beaten his record.
Mhm.
And I think just him talking about that, and then my brother's drive to walk on for the University of Illinois, and this is like the D. Brown, Luther Head era.
Yeah, they had a squad. They
like-
made, I think, the finals or something, right?
Yeah, like Brian Cook, who played for the Lakers, he was with all those guys.
Yep.
Mind you, he would get like 7 seconds a season, but it doesn't
Still
matter.
impressive.
Dude, that drive, like we would go to the Final Four. We went to all that stuff as a family, and I just loved being around that because I feel like growing up like I like to be like, dude, I'm better at basketball than you. 2 guys.
Mhm.
Because I feel like when you say it to a girl, it's just different, dude. I feel like still to this day, like girls are put in that realm where it's like you need to be pretty and you need to like play with your Barbies. Where like sure, I want to feel pretty, but I'm trying to be good at sports. Like if you want to play pickup basketball or do whatever, I want to be just as good. I don't want to be looked down upon just because I'm a girl. And I learned that is through a lot of things, and especially with coaching.
I think that's an awesome attitude to have. I was just listening to a podcast today, and a guy was he was saying that about like African Americans, and that how they were always brought up being told that like there was this like slave history, and they start behind the 8 ball. So like when you have that mentality of like, oh, I'm a female, I'm I'm supposed to be like not as good as a guy in basketball. Where if you have that awesome mindset like you have, where it's just like, fuck that shit, we're on the same level, like
100%.
But I'm sure you've come across people saying, like, I'm sure if you try to run 5s with some guys, you get people like, nah, like.
Dude, like I think like before Paul and I got married, we would go play like pick up basketball. He's like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, dude, like I want to play. They wouldn't pass me the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, right. They were like, no, dude, we're not. Sorry, my screen just went like, they're like, we're not going to pass it to you. I'm like, are you serious? Fuck you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, I'm just like, I give up. Because mind you, I wasn't like some great street ball basketball player, but still, at least I had the grit to go out there and want to try.
100%.
It's just like the saying, like, dudes can't show emotion. Dudes can't cry because you're a guy.
Yeah.
Which is such bullshit. Like, I bet you having a daughter, you've probably felt more emotion.
Oh, I'm like an emotional pit as it is.
You're
like
a big pussy now.
I'm a big bitch. Like I watch, like I'll watch The Bachelor. I never even watched it before in my life, and I'll tear up because one guy or girl didn't get a rose when I thought he was like a good-hearted person. I'm just
God.
soft at it. I think, and that's my question to you is like, how much do you think you can shape like your daughter Brady, and like for me myself is like how much do we really contribute to the person that they're going to become, and like obviously we want to be parents, and like I want my daughter to be funny as shit, like
my God, like I'm gonna slap the shit out my daughter if she's not funny, because I'm funny. Paul's okay at being funny, but like I'm gonna be real upset if this bitch isn't funny, because I take pride in making people laugh. But I don't know, dude. I think like with the conversations that I've had with Paul, like we're just gonna raise her the way that we are, and we've had this conversation before. We're both in our 30s. I feel like we're that new generation of parents that are bringing it back to like how we were raised. Like, there are some disrespectful ass kids around. And 100%. I know from coaching them, and also Paul's a high school teacher. Like, where do you go? I never got in trouble at school because I knew that if I got home, I'd get my ass beat by my parents, because I was not going to reflect our name by synonymously getting in trouble at school. Like, same with Paul. And I think that our generation is going to be the same way. Like, my daughter is not going to be disrespectful, and my daughter is going to be strong in her beliefs, but in a, like, she's not going to be viewing people like, I feel like the new saying is, if you're nice, I don't care what color you are, you're nice. Yep. If you're mean, I don't care what color you are, you're mean.
Yeah, and I mean, like people always say, you don't like teach color, like you don't see color as a kid, like, you know, so right. Like it has to be taught somewhere.
100%. And we grew up in Elgin, which is the suburbs of like, it's like Rockford. Like you have every different color of the rainbow in that city. And I had Mexican friends, I had black friends, I had white friends, and I had some really shitty black friends, really shitty Mexican friends, and really shitty white friends. And that's just how it is. Like, that's just how we were raised. But I feel like I was always pretty set in my ways. And I didn't grow up, and I feel like we will raise our daughter like this. We didn't grow up with the mindset of, you're going to be this way because of this. Like, she's going to grow up, and hopefully she asks us questions about things and is ready to learn. It's just crazy. Like, having her at daycare, she's been learning so much from being with kids, and they don't even talk. They just like babble. It's fascinating. Oh
isn't it wild? Like the things that they learn and they pick up. Like, my daughter, she randomly will just, like, she says it a lot now, but she started saying like, "Oh wow," like for something that goes off, and now, like, she'll have a dirty ass diaper, like all up in her ass crack, everything. And I'll be like, "Do you have a dirty diaper?" She'll be, No.
I know. I'm like, "Did you go poop?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "Girl, yes, you did. It stinks."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "You stink like shit. You need to come here." And then, like, changing a diaper is not this fun, like, okay. It's like trying to wrangle like an alligator. It's the worst fucking thing in my life.
Yes. But I think to your point where things get a little distorted and where people like start to conform with like society is what we were talking about before we got on air, was the perception that people on the outside will give to us. So like you would mention you were at Bye Bye Baby and Brady was having like a fit or whatever, like she wouldn't sit in her stroller, car seat. And which is like on your part acceptable to however you're going to respond to her not being in her car seat is totally acceptable. You're her mom. You have her best interest in mind. What people on the outside don't see, like they don't give us that benefit of the doubt anymore.
No. And that's hard because it causes me so much stress and anxiety. Like, we went out to dinner at Houlihan's and I'm like, let's make sure we have every single thing, because I did the same shit before I had a kid. I was like, oh God, they just sat down their toddler right next to us. This baby's going to be crying the whole time. Yes, it's absolutely annoying. I don't care. Like, I still have a baby and I find it annoying, but that you can just feel the eyes on you, and it's that instant, like, are you going to shut your kid up? But it's normally coming from people that don't know the pain. So like while you're sitting at Houlihan's, like, this bitch and her daughter, in the back of your mind, you're still like, to Paul, like, but I feel her though. Like, you know, 100%. No, I should have made that more clear. And now that I'm a mom, I'm like, oh dude, like I never am like, oh shit. Like, I'm like, oh my God, dude, I totally feel that pain. That sucks ass that your daughter is having a freak out right now. Like, I get you. But before I didn't have a kid, I was like, why did you bring your baby here?
100%.
Which is, you know what I'm saying? Like, that sucks. But like, dude, it's the truth. Like, we're going on a family trip, and Brady's going to go on her first plane ride next Thursday. We're going to Florida to visit my grandma. And I'm being like psycho parent where I'm like, we need to upgrade to first class tickets. So we have like the big seats. And Paul's like, are you fucking serious? He's like, we're going to sit in the back by the toilet. I'm like, okay, amazing. No, like literally our seats are by the toilet.
That I have like you'll see my plaque there. That's like my staple seat when I fly United.
He's like, we're not, like, if that baby's going to cry, that baby's going to cry. I'm like, yeah, I know. But like, dude, one of us needs to at least feel that like, I want to be respectful of people's, like, people don't want to hear a crying baby on a plane. I don't want to hear that. But if it happens, it happens. And 100%. Like, and you know, dude, when Nyx is in her straight psycho mode, like, nothing's going to calm her down.
No.
And sorry, guys, just, you're going to need to ride this out with me.
Yep. It's tough because, like you said, I think the way we were brought up is you obviously want to be respectful. You don't want to be like a burden on other people, but like people also have to understand that like that's just how the way things are. Like, so like if you have to like I don't know if it's just me and I'm not like patting myself on the back, but if someone has a crying baby, I'll be like, and this is, I feel like even before I had a baby, I would still be like, I get it. Like, you know, like you can't fucking help a crying baby. Like, what are you going to do?
Right.
But there's good people, and then there's assholes that just are gonna be assholes regardless.
I've been an asshole once or twice, but mainly and Paul is so good about it. Like, we always, like, with the parents that are having the freakouts, we always kind of look at them like, dude, it's all good, man. Like, don't worry about it. Like, it is what it is. And if as a parent I can't calm her down, your stares aren't gonna help either.
No.
Like, let her cry, and then this will be a 5-minute thing for everybody to endure. You don't have to go home with the baby. I do, so you can chill.
Now let me ask you, because I think I would tell this to my wife, but
okay. Oh shit,
she's gonna hear it now. But I think women have a certain timeline that they have in their head, or when they're growing up in high school, of like what they like, get married, have a baby, and just live like a perfect life. Is that sort of how things work? I mean, like, but again, you had mentioned that you didn't know you were pregnant until whenever. So like, was there a thought, like, did you have conversations with Paul about having a baby? Because it's a huge decision.
So we have been together for 10 years, and
same with us. Crazy.
Yeah. And we kind of did, like, that dude's my best friend. Like, it's so cliche, but I was just talking about this with my friend Alyssa. Like, once you find that person, it's just your person. Yep. Like, you just know, dude. You just know. And you can ask, so if you feel like you're married to somebody and that's not your person, there's something that's not lining up. Because Paul is my friend, and I feel like so many people nowadays, like, aren't married or together with their friend. I'm like, what? Yep. So we kind of did that typical path. We dated, and then we moved in together. Like, we rented, and then we rented for a year, bought a townhome, and then got married, and then we started trying to have a baby. So it took 8 months. So we were actively trying, and then found out that I was pregnant, and literally the first words out of my mouth were, no fucking way. Because it wasn't like this. It was just such bad timing, because I had just quit my job and things like that. Yeah, I just quit my job, which is so sad. Like, that was my first reaction to finding out I was pregnant. So many people have problems with, like, fertility and things like that. Yeah,
my wife had trouble.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I know that I'm very lucky, and I don't know if we have another kid, like, how easy that will be. So we're very lucky in that sense. But I think I had that idealistic timeline of marrying your best friend and living together, and he's a couple years older than I am, and we're gonna have a baby and a white picket fence. Like, I feel like I had that. I still feel like I have that dream of, like, I can't wait to see where we're gonna be in the next 5 years. We're gonna have more kids. Hopefully we have a house, because right now we're outgrowing our townhome and things like that. And who's gonna be the millionaire? Because I'm trying to just fucking live off that money.
Aren't we all?
But dude, like, when can I win the lottery?
Well, maybe someone's watching this that'll like pitch an idea or something to you.
you try and sponsor me because I need some money up here. I
Speaking
got
of that,
diapers, bills, all that shit.
full disclosure, I haven't picked up the Jimmy John's hoodie yet, but I will get that. Jill is a plug for any Jimmy John's clothing that you want. So
what's up? What you need? You got catering? I got you. Don't worry.
Hit her up. I want to know what Paul's reaction to having a girl was.
He was like beyond thrilled.
Really?
Yeah. When I found out that we were gonna have a girl first, I low-key was disappointed, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a boy first because I grew up with a big brother,
mm-hmm.
and then I had a sister.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like every little girl needs that protection from her older brother.
Yeah.
And so when I my whole time I was pregnant, I always imagined having a boy. And so when I found out it was a girl, I was like, okay, like this is, yeah, I know, isn't that so sad?
Yeah.
Like, this is cool. But now, like, I can't even imagine raising a boy. I feel like I'm going to be so stressed out because it's going to be so different.
Yeah.
Like, we already have all the girl shit, all the girl clothes, all that stuff. Now I'm going to have to, like, raise a boy and they don't have the same, like, body parts and shit. I'm just going to be like, dude, what? Like, but I want to be able to have that boy for Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every dad wants a boy.
100%.
Like, just to have that, do their boy stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like it's almost like everyone wants you to have a boy. If you're, you know, anyone in your family wants the father to have a boy, and
yeah,
you're, I feel like, a rare breed because a lot of people want the mothers to have the little princess girl, but like it's cliche and it's corny, but like having a girl, and Paul probably feels the same exact way, but it's just like it pulls something else outside of you that like you never thought you'd have, like the way that like they just look at you or they'll grab your hand when you don't expect it, like whereas if a boy were to do that, I would just be like fuck out of here, like you
grab my hand,
like don't grab my hand. But
don't smile at me,
don't, like, you got to be a badass, like,
yeah.
But I think there's something special to, I thought you were going to tell me some cool story that Paul was pissed off and that, like, he had to come around when the baby was born and, like, fuck you, Paul. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what the fuck, Paul?
But what as a mother, my wife, I feel like, is on some next level with this stuff. She, prior to getting pregnant, she listened to podcasts, she read up, she just did so much homework on becoming a mother that she would tell me something and it was almost like I didn't want to hear any of that stuff because I almost was, one, being lazy, and two, was trying to tell myself, like, just be the father that you're going to be without all this someone else telling you how it's supposed to be. Right. How did you prepare to be a mother, and how did Paul prepare to be a father? Like, that's information so that you gave him.
That's so funny that you say that, because I feel like Paul was the same way. Mm-hmm. I would always, like, I wanted to get every, like, maternity book and magazine for Paul. Like, the only book that I got him that he really read was Dude, You're Gonna Be a Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And which was a really good book. And now Paul's a reading teacher, so he's but when it came to, like, Paul, you need to read this, he's like, I'm not having anybody else tell me how to raise my kid. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but maybe, like, a little bit of guidance. And now he, like, can't stop reading, like, oh my God, she's 21 months and she doesn't make this noise. Really? I'm like, you need to chill the fuck out, dude. Like, she's fine. Like, he gets so anxiety ridden about it. I'm like, just let her be, dude. Like, she's healthy. She's a giant. She's fine. Like, let her be. I was very nervous. Like, I wanted to do things so right the whole time. Like, I didn't want to miss a beat about this whole thing. Like, she needs this type of stroller, this type of diaper. That I was so, like, first time mom. Like, I feel like all first time moms are just like that, where like now that I've been a mom, I'm just like, I don't fucking care what you eat, dude, just eat. Like, in the beginning I was like, organic this, organic that, I'm making her own food, I'm breastfeeding the rest of my life. It's like, fucking tired, eat a hot dog, like, have some grilled cheese, you know what I'm saying? So
I mean, it's tough. Like, we're coming to that same battle where it's just like I was telling you before, they get into these fits that it's just so hard to control that you don't want to do the screen time and just put a phone in front of their face.
No.
But it's sometimes, like, you got to just do it. Like, if you're on a road trip or...
Dude, I busted out our iPad that's, like, 13 years old. I'm like, we're gonna fucking put every Elmo on there
Yep.
because I'm not trying to have you freak out. Bring your phones, bring your old iPods, like bring your Tamagotchis, all that shit, because I need her entertained. But I feel like I didn't grow up with a screen in my face.
No.
I came in the house with black feet because I was outside playing all goddamn day.
Yeah.
Like, our neighbors' parents rang a bell for us to come inside. And that's scary to think because I'm like, I tell Paul, I'm like, dude, don't hold the phone so close to her face. I don't, because it like messes up their eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how we have to shape this like technological world now and it's like even our parents say the same thing. Well, back in my day, we didn't have this and that. I'm like, well, there's no way getting around the fact that she's going to have a cell phone because.
Well, that's why it's interesting because we grew up in a time, like you said, where there wasn't any of that shit, and I think we made it out fine. We did okay. We played in the street and we figured stuff out.
But we didn't get
like,
fucking snatched up.
Yeah. Well, it's scarier time now with
that's
people
what I'm saying. Like, people just be stealing kids, man. Like, what the fuck? I don't mean to like make it any type of comical thing, but like that is a very scary thing as a parent where it's like, watch my daughter.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you watch her at all times. Like,
I feel like people were probably getting snatched up too back in the day. It's just you didn't hear about it on Twitter or like these like Amber Alerts on your phone and shit like that. It was just more like, I mean, like all these like police beatings and stuff like that. Like all that shit was happening in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s. It's just now we see it all. So it's like.
We see everything. You can't say, we might say something that we think is totally normal at the time, and there's going to be a comment. And they're like, oh my God, that sounded so racist, or that sounded so whatever. And it's like, dude, we're just fucking talking. Like, you have to be so, like, you have to think so far ahead before what you say. You can't just have a free-flowing conversation anymore.
100%.
Because people are so fucking sensitive.
Well, they're just quick to hop on whatever you're saying because they have too much time to just pick apart bullshit, which is just like they're corny people. Like people who are on Facebook picking apart what you're saying. Like
maybe like chill the fuck out. Don't you got something better to do?
So what I want to say is just like we grew up in like without the phones and like without all this like crazy technology stuff, but like it's almost like even if we were to try and do that now with our daughters or sons, you can't because all the other kids are doing it. That it's like if they go to school, the kid's gonna be like, "Oh, did you see Baby Shark? Like it was on YouTube," and they'll be like, "Oh, what's YouTube? I don't watch that." You know, like obviously they're not speaking like that if they're still watching Baby Shark, but
hopefully the fuck not. So I'm like, why do you talk at daycare and not at our house?
Yeah, your daughter's going to daycare. Like, yo, you seen that Baby Shark?
Bitch, really? But you can't tell me that you have a dirty diaper. Okay.
But it's almost like you sort of have to like conform to like the technology and all that shit. But like it's just such a weird balance because we're at a weird time where it's like we have to figure out which is too much. Where there's parents out there that are crazy that are giving all the time. That when Brady or Nix goes to school, they're gonna look at that kid like, damn, your mom lets you do all that shit, and you have to even have stronger values when they come home to be like.
And dude, I feel like Paul and I are gonna be that way because when all my friends were getting cell phones in high school, I didn't get a cell phone till I was 16. People had like my best friend, I think she had a cell phone when she was in like 7th or 8th grade, and I was like, damn, I just want to get on your phone and play Snake.
Yes.
You know, on that Nokia phone.
Yeah.
Like, dude, now kids have phones when they're like in like 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, first off, I'm not trying to pay for that shit. Like, no. You need to get a job if you want a cell phone, and I don't care if you're 8. But also, like, but I feel like we have to because of, like, a safety issue.
Yeah, that
like,
too.
What if something happens?
Yeah.
You need to get in contact with somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's tough, dude.
How often are you, I mean, it's probably every day, but, like, what worries you the most for your daughter? Because I'm lucky. Like we have Molly's mother lives with us, so she watches her here at our house. But like,
oh my God, that's so nice.
I would get so nervous dropping my daughter off at like not. I mean, obviously people drop their kids off at daycare, but like, what worries you? Is there anything crazy? Like I've heard people worry about the weirdest shit, like swimming or drowning or.
Oh my God, I literally try to take her to the pool. She has no concept of swimming. She walks all the way into the water until it like hits her nose. I'm like, okay, stop. Like, you can't do that. I honestly think, like, her understanding the boundaries of her body.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you have to teach it at a young age, which makes me sad.
Because knowing, understanding her.
You.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, nobody touches you. Not your uncle, not your aunt, not daddy, not mommy. Like, nobody touches you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable. And I want her to know what uncomfortable means.
How do you do that at such a young age? Because I feel the same way. Like, I'll change her diaper and she'll just she'll reach for her thing down there. And I got to be like, no. But then my wife will say, like, just let her explore. She's at a young age, you know? Like,
and Brady's the same way too. She's like super like sensitive, like when you want to, clean her or whatever. And I'm just like, listen, mommy's got to clean you. We got to make sure that you're clean down there. And we talk to her not we talk to her if she's an adult.
That's the perfect. I love that you say that.
We don't really have like nicknames for things. Like, sure, like we call the cats like certain names, but we don't say like, oh, do you want a num num?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, do you want some apples? Do you want some bananas? Because I just feel like she understands so much more. Like, she definitely understands more than she can actually communicate. And she gets so frustrated when she can't communicate.
Yep.
But like, even when I was cleaning her last night, I was like, listen, I know that this is sensitive for you, but mommy has to clean you down there. And just like her having confidence. Like, I know that I had insecurities growing up because kids are fucking mean.
Yeah.
Kids are so mean, and it makes me sad because I got picked on. I was bullied. Oh my God. This sounds so like, woe is me, but I was bullied by these two girls in elementary school for years. They would like steal my lunch and like steal my pudding and my Pringles. And I literally would fake a stomach ache so much to go to the office that my dad came into our school and was like, what the fuck is going on? I want her to be able to stick up for herself.
100%.
Like, if somebody's not making you feel right, say something.
Yep.
And I don't care if you have to say it in a way where it's kind of mean and you hurt somebody's feelings, you say it. Because I didn't say it, and I very much did not. I would very much like have that anxiety as a little kid of being like, oh my God, I don't want them to be at school because they like force me to play with them and they steal my lunch, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want her to be confident enough to be like, stop doing that.
Yeah.
Or stop picking on my friend or something like that. So it's scary. And then I feel like with every age, like, we feel like she's going to be tall because I come from a very tall family. I'm 5'8", 5'9" as a girl, and which is pretty tall, I would say, as a girl. And then like my brother's 6'8", my sister's 6 foot, my dad's 6'3". Like, I just come from a tall family, and she's going to be tall. And I know that like you have insecurities with that because people are mean. And she's going to go through it because bullying and all that picking on kids is never going to stop. But I just want her to feel confident enough to be like, okay, fucking stop. Like,
do you think girls are worse than guys with bullying?
Ooh, yeah. Girls, oh man, we can be straight bitches.
Yeah. I mean,
not gonna lie. Like, still to this day, let me get with my girlfriends. We're having some drinks and we're talking shit about you. Don't worry.
That's what I worry about, because like I saw it with my sister. There was this girl, and I'll put her on blast. Her name was Alicia. And if my sister's listening, she was like this like redheaded girl, and she'd be on the bus, and she would always pick on my sister. And like I was smaller than my sister, but like our older brother never really rode the bus with us.
Yeah.
But she would always pick on my sister, and I feel like even still to this day, if I were to ask her, she would be like, "I want to kill that bitch."
Dude,
like,
100%. Like, where them bitches at? Because I'm not scared anymore. You know what I'm saying? But isn't that so sad? Like,
100%. It's scary.
I'm 30 years old, and I'm still concerned with the feelings I had when I was 8.
Yeah.
Like, that is sad.
Yeah.
Like, Paul's like, get over it. I'm like, bitch, I can't. I'm sad. I'm upset about it.
Yep.
Am I getting dark? I'm sorry. Is this getting dark for you? Can you still see me?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay. Oh, shit. My bad. Jesus. I'm sorry, Corin.
No, that's all good. So you went to college. You wanted to be. What was your goal when you graduated college? What did you want to do?
Just to get the fuck out of school. I hated college.
Really?
I hated it.
Why were you so against? Like what?
I went to NIU.
Okay.
And when I was a freshman, I was 19, I was in a school shooting at my school.
I think I saw something.
Yeah.
Like you
on
would post
Valentine's Day in 2008. a gunman, and it's so sad that like you can just talk about this openly and freely because I feel like it's so common now.
Yeah, and you probably were experienced like was this before Virginia Tech or
this was actually Virginia Tech was April 2007 and we were February 2008, so it wasn't even a year after Virginia Tech.
Jeez. Well, first off, sorry that you had to go through something like that.
I mean, it shaped who I am now because that made me an empathetic person. Like, I have so much empathy for people, and I feel like people don't have that nowadays. So I was a freshman, so I was 19 years old when a gunman came into my room and he killed 5 of my classmates.
Jeez.
And Corin, that ruined me for many, many years. I was I felt so broken because I had one scratch on my knee. Like, I was physically fine, but mentally, like, if you would just open up my head, you would just see the damage that was done because nothing prepares you for that.
I can't imagine.
Oh my God, when you're in high school, now kids are prepared for lockdowns.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, that wasn't a
Our
thing.
biggest thing was maybe like a fire drill.
Threat.
Yeah, a bomb threat. Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, there was never like what to do when an active shooter situation happens. So
if I could ask what like I mean, I don't even want to bring you back to that day.
No, I am me actually talking about it helps me feel better because it shows like how much growth I've made.
Yeah.
And like, I have a beautiful family. I've been successful in my job. Like, I have been able to move forward. And I think when people are able to, there might be somebody out there that randomly clicks on your video and had some type of situation where whether their sibling was killed by gun violence or something like that, like, it might help them. And that's what's always like helped me, is just being like, dude, listen, it is awful. Like, when we talk about having a nightmare, like, I was having night terrors. I was waking up in my dorm room, screaming, sweating. I was losing my hair. I was not eating. You just don't, like, I didn't know how to move forward.
I can't even imagine, like you said, I can't even imagine trying to finish school, like,
oh
going
like, dude, we were off for a week, and then we had to go back to school, okay? And we had to finish out our class. And it was basically like a therapy session. Like, we had to talk with a bunch of counselors, and like, they were basically like, okay, well, we're going to talk about it. I'm like, what are we going to talk about? Like, I'm not ready for this. This is so like, I had an out of body experience, and I 100% believe that people have those. I literally saw myself floating above me in my chair, acting out what I was supposed to do. And your whole entire life, you're taught to call 911 when an emergency happens. And I called my dad. And like, that breaks my heart because it's like, that's how much my dad means to me. Because
why does that break your heart? I mean, that's amazing.
It just like, it just makes me feel like, I hope that he knows, like, he was my shelter. There's nobody else I would be able to call besides my dad. And I remember telling him, like, I remember feeling embarrassed because when I was on the phone with him, I was swearing. And like, yes, on social media, I'm like, fuck that shit, whatever. Like, but in front of my parents, like, I never talked like that in front of my parents. Nowadays, what's up, mom and dad? Fuck you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so like nonchalant. But it's if it does get dark in here, tell me. I'll turn the light on.
Oh, it's hella dark behind you, but it's fine.
You can still see me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I can still see
I'm like a fucking ghost.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's just a floating head.
I'm sorry. So I remember telling my dad, like, there's a shooter. He just kept fucking shooting. And all he said was, just keep running. Don't stop running. Like, just keep running. And I had squeezed my phone so hard that it shut off. It was like, there were people sitting in their seats just like frozen, like, because it was such a shock of like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you? And there was people on the floor. Like, it was, and I was 19, dude. I was still a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're not going to know how you react in a situation like that. I mean, like, no one should ever be in that type of situation. That's why, like, how do you feel when, like, people who have never been in this type of situation try to speak on it? Like, you see these kids from these schools, like, out there, putting themselves out there, who've lived in your shoes, and then you got some fucking guy in a suit like, no, we're not going to change anything. Like,
it makes me so mad because, like, kids are dying. Like, Sandy Hook.
Crazy.
6-year-old kids, you guys, kids. And if you Google gunshot wounds, there you go. Like, it, and it kind of like triggers me when people are like, well, if I was there, I would have done this.
Yeah.
Well, really, would you have done it? Because I could have said that too, and I fucking ran. Well, I didn't help anybody that was on the ground. I ran to save myself.
What would you say to people that have the argument that teachers should be armed?
Oh man, I don't think they should be armed. You're just fighting guns with guns. Like, it's not about arming more people. Like, I don't want Paul to have a gun. Where are you going to keep it? How do you know if one of the students in your classroom isn't going to take it? Like, there's so many what ifs about it.
And no one's like, you're not a professional, so it's like you're just like Wild West shooting. You could potentially shoot somebody yourself. Like,
why don't you guys do something differently? It's hard to control people.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, if a person wants to get a gun, they're going to find it. Just like people find drugs, like, they're going to find it. But I just feel like we can be a little bit harsher.
100%. Because
until somebody loses their family member, friend, or whatever to gun violence, they're not going to give a shit. They're going to say, Second Amendment, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, dude, but wait until your fucking kid dies. It goes back to
this is not comparing it at all, but like, having a child who's crying, being in your situation with a school shooting, or like you see these conservative politicians that have like a gay or lesbian son or daughter, then all of a sudden they're like for every single LGBT law. Like, it's like these people don't realize these things until they're put in that situation, which is so unfortunate that they have to like be a part of it to then come around on it, when it's just like, they should just,
like, you weren't doing shit about it before, and now all of a sudden you're like gung-ho about it. It's annoying, but you know what? I'd rather have you be gung-ho about it and make a fucking difference than like get on the internet and be a troll.
Yeah.
Like, why are you arguing about people and their guns? And like, I was just trying to learn about the fucking ocean. Some stupid ass oceanology class where you're learning about like the depths and the pressure, and I'm like, oh, I'll take the ocean class because we'll learn about fish. No, that class was hard as hell, actually.
Yeah, some of those.
And I left that classroom, and 5 of my classmates didn't.
Yeah.
And like, that is heartbreaking. Like, now that I'm a parent, I go through that post-traumatic stress of the parents who lost their children that day. Like, now I understand, like, oh my God, like, how do you even continue?
I don't know how.
I don't, and I was there. Like, but how as a parent do you continue? And it's just.
How long did it take you to really, like, come around and sort of, like, face your fears with that?
I would say it took a good 5 years for me to finally be able to like not have a breakdown about it.
Was there anything like specific that you can point to that helped get you through it? Like, are you pretty religious or anything like that?
I mean, I grew up Catholic, but no, dude, I didn't really use that. Like, I just kind of kept talking about it to people, and I feel like I so appreciate you even listening, because it gives us a couple minutes out of our day to think about those whose lives were taken. And I will never forget, one of the parents whose daughter was killed that day said, a lot of us say, like, I'm so sorry for the loved one that you lost. And he said, my daughter wasn't lost. She didn't go into a forest and run away. She was murdered. And it's a blunt way of putting it, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, your daughter didn't get lost. She was killed. And she was killed violently. Like, this isn't you're laying down and being Sleeping Beauty and closing your eyes and going to fucking sleep and dying. Like, you're shot. And it was the sound was deafening. I thought it was fake. I was like, what the fuck was that noise? Like, I was embarrassed because I jumped, and it wasn't fake, dude. It was nonstop shooting. And I would hope that my daughter never experiences that.
Yeah, any child for that matter.
I get nervous because Paul works in a school.
Yeah.
And he works in a school that, I mean, you never know what a kid is going to do. You can work at a beautiful private school where you think all the kids have their heads on straight, and then, you know, you never know. Or like the south side of Chicago, you don't hear about fucking school shootings out there.
No.
And the kids like walk through like security alarms and shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was going to say, but like, I totally lost what I was going to say. But like,
what the fuck, Corin? Are you high?
No, but that's what makes, I feel like, schools not have those type of issues when you have a mix of so many different kids, and it's not like all like the same like stress. Like my brother works at a school, it's like a top high school, and it's all the same type of kids, but it's just like
in Illinois or in New York?
No, in New York.
Oh, okay.
But like, fuck, I had something good. I feel like I'm just
crazy. My cat is like scratching to get in this damn room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It gets me mad, like seeing people with a platform. Like, I don't know if you know Alex Jones, but like he was on YouTube.
Didn't he just like get arrested because of the fake shit? Is that the guy that said the fake shit about Sandy Hook?
Yeah. So like he has a huge platform on. He had I think he has a TV show, Alex Jones TV show or some shit, but it's on YouTube.
Whatever.
But like, I mean, it's a free country. You could say whatever you want, but like sometimes there's certain things that you can't say, and like
Jesus
shit
Christ.
like that is just terrible to like, and people shouldn't be allowed to say shit like that. And luckily, I think he said that, and he was taken off YouTube, and now like he's facing some like repercussions from it. But like,
right, I think he's getting like sued by the parents of Sandy Hook because he said that their kids didn't fucking die, that they were like child actors.
Yeah.
What? That like baffles my mind. I can't even elaborate on it because I just don't understand why you would even what like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what are you accomplishing by doing that? And then
nothing.
The other thing that like I've never really been like a really religious person, but like I had a bar mitzvah. I was raised Jewish. I'm gonna raise my daughter to be Jewish, but like
okay, Drake.
Yeah, you know.
What's up?
But like I've never been in that situation that you've been in, but I always get frustrated when people use the thoughts and prayers like term, because like to your point, like your praying's not helping anything. You're not going home
and praying for me.
Well, and even if you are, like I feel like the praying, I mean, I guess to some people it makes a difference, but like for other people, like praying is not going to bring back your daughter. Like what will potentially save another child is creating some type of law or getting out there and doing something that would actually take guns off the street or something like that.
Right. Or at least like in the Virginia Tech situation, like they had a reason why. Mm-hmm. Like that shooter made his fucking manifesto and like sent it out. For us and NIU, like we were very much left with a why. And I think in our situation, like mental health played a huge, like we need more routes for people to feel comfortable to talk about shit.
Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of people like committing suicide now just because of depression, like, and it's so sad because it goes back to the whole like social media glamorous life of like everyone thinks like everything's perfect. And like something my wife always says is like, and something I appreciate about you is like, and like something I appreciate what you do on your social media is like, it's not all glamorous shit. Like, you know, you'll put your daughter like crying or like, you know, having a bad day or something like that. And all you see from some of these people that with their kids is like, it's perfect. Like life's great. My husband's amazing. He's the best husband. And it's like, Molly yells at me all the time because I'm not doing enough shit. And it's like,
I literally was on my way because Paul's on summer now.
Uh-huh.
So I called him and I was like, listen, he's like, oh, I was just sleeping. And I was like, well, I'm coming home from work. I hope you have enough energy now to fold the clothes in the loft. And he was like, why you got to be on that with me? Why you got to be like that? I'm like, because I just fucking worked and you need to clean you need to pick up shit. Like, and I know but that's why I appreciate Paul, because he always kind of like reels me back in. Like, I can totally be a brat. I can be very bratty. I get super stressed out and like in situations, and when I get stressed, I just like attack him. I'm like, fucking clean up, do this. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Blah, blah. And he's like, okay, you need to chill out. You're having a freak out right now. I'll do what you say, but just remember that you're being a bitch. And he kind of like reels me back in, and like a day later, sometimes I'm petty. It might be 3 days later,
no,
but I'll
the
be
fact
like,
that you're even like admitting that you realize it is a big step, because I don't know if my wife does that.
Dude, he's made me that way though.
Oh, cool.
Like when we first started dating, I remember, mind you, I was 21, so I was like, you know, still that immature party girl. I would like storm out of his house, and he was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I am doing my thing and I'm leaving. I'm not talking to you anymore. And he's like, we don't do that. Like, you're not going to be doing that. He's like, you're 21. You need to grow up. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. So I think, wait, I was going to say something.
See, I remember what I was going to say too.
You were talking about like that. And I do apologize that this is so dark.
No, it's fine. I think people still get the gist of
the gist. Just I'm a ghost, so surprise.
Yeah. That's that outer body experience you were talking about.
Yo, dude, here it is, man, just floating away. You were saying something about how there's this facade of like the perfect marriage and the perfect motherhood. I'm like, I've always kept it real. I don't like, and I'm still gonna keep it real. Like, I love my daughter, but my daughter fucking pisses me off. And I love my husband, but my husband fucking pisses me off. Yep. Like, and that's just the reality. Like, I'm tired, and I'm gonna be tired for a long time because I have a toddler. Like, sometimes I just need a fucking break. And this is what I tell Paul is like, I don't understand how teenagers have babies, because I am in a healthy, strong relationship with a man that I've been with for 10 years. And still, I feel like he's really stuck with me because I struggled with my postpartum. I definitely, like, I went through a phase of, like, not even wanting to, like, be around him. Like, I don't know what it was. I was just like, dude, I don't even have the energy to, like, do anything. Like, like, whether it was, I'm not talking about just sexually, just, like, even, like, talking. I'm just like, I don't really want to be talking. I'm just fucking tired. Like, I don't know what it is. And that was hard, because you have this pressure from society that's like, no, like, you need to have dinner ready for your husband because you're not working. You're staying home taking care of the baby. And I'm like, there's a pile of dirty clothes that's up to my face. There's dirty dishes in the sink. Like, I'm stressed out. And I remember my mom and my grandma saying, if your baby is healthy and your baby is fed, you don't need to worry about the dishes in the sink. Yep. And, like, I so needed to hear that because I was so stressing about, like, being this perfect wife and this perfect, like, I want to have things perfect for you and lay out your clothes in the morning and have a lunch made for you. And eventually I was like, fuck that.
Well, that's what I want to ask you is, like, how do you look at Paul's role as a father, husband? Like, it sounds like in the past you sort of, like, maybe embraced that, like, motherly role where you have to do more of the laundry and cleaning the dishes and shit. How do you look at it now?
So he is definitely our provider. Like, Paul goes, now that he's not coaching, he goes above and beyond with bringing in any type of extra income. Like, not that we're like some struggling whatever. Yeah, no. We're parents, and we can use any type of money that we can get. So 100%. He subs. He'll like pick up any type of extra work with, like, working soccer games and things like that, which I so appreciate. But I really feel like in the beginning, I definitely wanted to be like, you just worked all day, like, you need to go to bed, I'll take care of the baby. Now we've kind of, like, figured out our roles. Like, we switch off. Like, yesterday, Brady had an absolute she was a demon. Like, she took a nap way late in the day, so it fucked up her schedule. Then when it was time to go to bed, she was like, no. And I'm like, no, dude, it's like 10 at night. You need to go to bed. And I had to go. I got work in the morning, but Paul was kind of good with her all day, so I had to rock her for like 45 minutes, and I put, like, soothing music on, and eventually she went to bed. So he's now, like, doing the role tonight. And I think that he kind of needed to, like, work his way into that too, because for a long time, I think he kind of used the, like, well, she just wants her mom. And I'm like, I know, but Paul, like, I'm just exhausted. Like, I need your help on this. And he's like, yeah, but I just worked all day. I'm like, yeah, but I want a fucking break. I was home with her all day. Yeah. Like, being home with a baby is not like stay-at-home moms. It's not a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Especially with like that pressure from society being like, well, you better have the dishes clean and you better have that dinner made. It's like, dude, I was not that way. I tried like one time and still like I made them dinner tonight, but like you're not going to get that every night. I'm sorry, because it's just we're all working and doing these things, and I always put myself last. Like I'll always eat last, and you guys make sure that you're good, because like, but that's because Paul and I have a good relationship. And I feel like if you can't talk about it with your significant other, then you're fucking screwed, dude.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be in a miserable relationship and trying to raise a baby.
Yeah.
Where we've definitely, I mean, we've gotten into arguments and we've definitely gone at it with like our roles and responsibilities, where sometimes I felt like I was doing a lot more than he was, or he was like, yeah, but I'm working all the time and then I come home and then I have to take care of a baby. It's like I'm working 2 full-time jobs, and I was like, welcome to the rest of your life. Like that's how it's going to be.
Yep.
And I think that I definitely had expectations for him, and he's meeting them and going above and beyond. Like he's so great with her. Like he was outside playing with her, and sometimes I just don't have the energy. You know, I feel like all this whole time I've just said how tired I am, which is sad, but I just don't have the energy sometimes to like go out and constantly play with her. I'm like, can you just play inside? Because mommy wants to cook, or mommy wants to like read a magazine, or mommy wants to be on Instagram for a half hour. And like, you don't really get that. And that's something that I really miss. Like I said, I love my daughter, but I miss those times of just like me and Paul, where it was like, you could take a nap and you can wake up and take a bath and like go out and not have to pack a diaper bag, and just like have that willingness of life. And like,
you forget about those things. Yeah, I know. But my wife, I still remember to this day, my wife, when her water broke and we were walking out of our garage going to the hospital, she was like, this is the last time we're ever going to have like together. Oh my God. You know?
That like makes me seriously, like makes my eyes tear up, because like, especially like you've been in a relationship with her as long as I've been with Paul. It's like, it's just been the two of us and we could do whatever we wanted. Like, we were coaching, and on Saturdays we were going to coaching clinics and like taking little trips here and there. And now it's like we have to clear everything, and it's just like the ease of life is gone. And yes, we have a beautiful daughter and we're so lucky, but like I'm selfish in the fact that it's like I just kind of want to come home some days and not have to have a responsibility. Yeah,
but I mean, I think it makes you appreciate like when a grandparent or something like watches them, and those moments you do have together alone like are just, they're magnified so much more, because you start to realize like Paul like or Molly, like we're not gonna have this time, like this we're gonna have this weekend and that's it, like then it's back to the chaos again. Like, so it's like cherish the fuck out of it, put your phone away, like if you want to talk to a guy like at the bar and like a different couple or something like that, do that shit present. Because like, and it's easier said than done, because like a lot of times like you still just want to be on your phone if you're away or something like that, but like it makes you think about it a little bit more.
Definitely. I totally agree. And Paul and I have always said this. We love meeting and talking to couples that feel the same way, because like I said, so many people are like, oh, I loved having a newborn. I'm like,
fuck
what?
That shit, yeah.
Dude, fuck that. Give me my baby when it's 5.
Yeah.
Because having a newborn sucks my ass.
Yeah.
It is the worst fucking stage ever. If you like to sleep, then don't have a baby.
Yeah.
Because
what do you say to the people that say catch up on your sleep now? Like that did anybody say that to you before you had a baby? Like catch up on your sleep now.
Okay, yeah, whatever. And then I'm like, wait, I miss all that.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like just going home and taking a nap, or just like,
I know.
Dude, it's hard, man. Like just a good night's sleep. Or I remember the first shower I took post baby, I like cried in the shower because it was 10 minutes of freedom, and it was just like all that I needed. And then I remember my mom came home with us our first night, and when she left, I was like consumed with so much like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. Don't leave. And like, I was looking at my cats and I'm like, our life is never going to be the same. And like, it was such a struggle for me because I don't know, dude, it was just like, it was hard. It was very, very hard. And I just want to be open about that, because if women aren't open about that, and even guys, like I feel like guys can be like, dude, I got a baby at home, I'm tired. Or I have a baby at home, I need to go relieve my wife. Like she, you know what I'm saying? And Paul has been so, I think we both are very give and take, like, especially now that Brady's older, but even when she was younger, like, it was a long time before, like, I was like, I'm going to go out and have a girls' night, okay? And, like, mind you, it's only going to be a couple of hours, but are you going to be okay with her? I was very nervous of, like, okay, like, you can do this. I know that you're not mommy, but you're going to be able to do this. And, of course, like, he called me and was like, she's fucking freaking out. You need to come home. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the hell? But, like, being able to talk about it now with him, it's like, we did that shit, dude.
Yep.
Like, we had this baby. We're out here killing it. She's so funny. She's so cute. But, like, it's hard. And it makes me very scared to want to have a second.
Yeah.
Because, first off, I don't want to be pregnant again. Because I did not like being pregnant. You're just big. And I don't want to lose that baby weight again. I don't want to fucking go through that. I felt so shitty. Like,
really?
My first trimester. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I remember with Molly, you know, first, like, just
dude,
the
just
tired.
Like, I was taking my prenatals and, like, puking every night. And, like, yeah, you have, like, really nice glowing skin and your hair grows, whatever. But then, like, you pop a baby out and, like, that's not fun. And then it's all that recovery and, like, I can't
even, like, I legit, like, can't even imagine. Like, and that's why it's, like, I sort of have to remind myself of that when, like, Molly will be like, can you do some more? Or, like,
yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, maybe I should. Like, I tell myself I should, and then I'm like, I still just want to sit down and watch, like, some shit that I recorded. Like,
dude, fuck you, because you had the best part of the pregnancy. You got the girl pregnant.
Yeah.
Now I have to carry this fucking baby around. My feet are swollen. My tits hurt. Like, like, it's, no doubt, dude. I'm like, look how fat I got. Like, I look back at pictures of being pregnant, and, like, yes, I was pregnant, but, like, I was also fat. Like,
yeah.
Not a fan. I was just eating everything, and then, like, I'm scared of, we had a little bit of complication with her birth, so the next time I would give a birth, I would have to have a C-section. So it's like, I don't want to fucking go through having a C-section. Like, now it's something totally different, and, like, I don't want to, like...
Well, it's just a new box you could check off on the list or something like that.
Fuck that box. I don't want to check that box off. Like,
you know what, like, gets me, like, to your point earlier of, like, just having food on the table and just, you know, like you're fine, you know, if your kid's eating, like, you're good. You said your mother said that?
Yes, my mom and my grandma. As they were folding my clean laundry in our loft, they were like, listen, if your daughter is fed, you don't need to worry about the clothes. Like, just the clothes and the dirty dishes, it's second in nature now, because your first priority is your daughter. And that, I, like, needed that, because I was so, like I said, so anxious with, like, having a pristine house and this and that. And I wanted Paul to come home to, like, a cooked meal and not pizza bites and fucking all that Hot Pockets.
I get my motivation and encouragement from seeing these people on, like, Maury and shit like that. And, like, no joke, I still, like, try to wrap my brain around how, like, one, they have the energy to, like, be on stage in their face of the father or not father, like, telling them that you are, like, yeah, motherfucker, like, they still, like, the kid will be backstage and is, like, 3 years old, 4 years old. Like, dude, how did they raise that kid? Like,
right. And also, how the fuck did you not know who the father was? Like, that's, that's your fault.
Well, like, when they're going through, like a Santa Claus list of, like, how many guys, like,
was it Eric, Kyle, Janet? I don't know. Was it a woman? Like,
so I see those kids and I'm like, if they could get to that point, like, and the kid's backstage looks all cute, is in a bow tie or whatever, like, Maury show didn't dress that motherfucker, like, someone dressed that kid. Right. So if they can do it, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, that dude, 100%. Because I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, there have been times when I've definitely been like, I'm gonna learn how to kill you because you're pissing me off, Paul. But then I just go to bed and I wake up in the morning and I was like, oh, I was a big bitch to you yesterday. And I feel, you know what? If you can admit that, then more power to you. Because he definitely, just as much as I can be a bitch, he can definitely be an asshole.
Yeah.
And don't call me a bitch when I'm being a bitch, because then I'm just going to be more of a bitch.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's just like instinct to, like, come out. Yeah, I know.
They're dumb.
Okay, I want to ask you, because you did like, step down from the coaching, and so you were a stay-at-home mom for a little bit?
Yeah, so, and that was very new for me, because
I'm sure. I mean, I don't think you probably were a stay-at-home mom before you had a baby.
No, but
hopefully.
like even like the whole working, like I had always, I don't think I was a stay-at-home mom. No, I was always working, and it was just, I felt like I let us down. Like
by
felt
leaving your
like,
job?
Yes. When I worked at Elgin Academy, which was the school that I worked at, when I had quit, I went to Maine East to coach. And when I was coaching at Maine East, I took like a part-time job at a small school in Elgin, but it was part-time and it was like chump change. Like it was just to like work for 4 hours a day, whatever. And I feel like I had like when I quit my job, that was a huge thing for Paul to be like, I'm trusting you with this opportunity. Like, I want you to take this coaching opportunity because we think that you can get a job within the school. And that didn't happen. And that was a big, like, burden because Paul really had to pick up the bills. I mean, it was going from, like I said, a 2 salaried income home to now 1. And that was tough. So when she was older, I was like, when she was getting older and the school year ended with my other job, like my little part-time gig, I was like, I need fucking full-time work, dude, because this is not cute. Like this whole part-time job, like it's just not, this isn't for me. Like I'm money selfish. Like I don't want, like we're kind of drowning in debt here because I've been staying at home and the money that I'm making from my part-time job is not like doing us anything. So that's when I got that hookup at JJ's.
JJ.
What up, bro?
So what's the difference? Have you seen any difference between staying at home and now going back to work? Like,
dude, I love me a paycheck. So I there are definitely days that I'm like, oh, I just want to stay home. But I remember being that new mom and like not having a paycheck and I had bills and I'm like, Paul, I need you to send me money. Like I need to pay my car payment. I need to pay my student loans. And if my paycheck is only $200, like that's not doing anything for us. You know? And I was going through the fact that I was going to be turning 30.
Yeah.
Like I need like homegirl. Okay. You had this baby. Now it's time to get back into like working. So I'm we are very blessed that now I'm back to working, but I mean, we still send Brady to daycare. So we're paying a mortgage for that. But, it was tough. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if we would have another kid, dude, I don't know how I don't know how I'd be able to like work with 2 kids. I feel like at that rate, I would want to stay home. I don't know. I
think we figure it out. I mean, like people figure out things as they, you know, like we get confronted with something and we face it, you know, like it's like we just figure it out. I think that's just how people are like instinctually. They just figure out how to like solve problems.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, something I will switch gears from children a little bit.
Yeah. Fuck these.
Something that you and Paul, which is a soft spot in my heart, which I sort of had to stop doing a little bit because I was degenerate back in the day, like really bad with gambling.
Dude. Oh my God.
You guys like to indulge in the casino a little bit.
A lot of it.
What is it about the casino that like gets your gears going a little bit?
Okay, so I just love that shit. Like I love playing the slot machines. I love the atmosphere. I think we like it because we like that chase of like winning the money.
Yep.
And like we always say like scared money don't make money, whatever. Yeah. So I'm out here like, oh, I'm going to do all these big bets and like, yeah, it's cool and fun and you win some money and then it's like, oh shit, I lost it all.
Yeah.
So, but that's like my thing. I don't like going out to bars is very like, I don't really do that anymore just because like my group of friends, like we're all like up that bridge of like, we're moms now. And like, if I'm going out to a bar, like I am either going to go to like some shitty towny bar or like we're going to make a girls' night out of it and the bar is in like Kentucky, some shit like that. But, so I don't really like drink a lot. So I like the casino where Paul is like, he'll go to a bar by himself and he just likes that bar atmosphere.
I respect that.
Like, I think the casino, it like suits us both where I'm able to get my little fun in and he's able to drink and like watch me gamble. And dude, we just have so much fun. Like that's like our thing. And we've been to Vegas a couple of times and we've
do you guys go with is there a plan and then like does the plan ever go out the window or is it just like let's just go? Like so slots is your thing.
dude, let's just fucking go and get this money. Let's get this bread. And usually, a lot of the time, I would say, honestly, dude, we've been pretty lucky. Like, we have gone and we've won some money. Not like we're winning thousands and thousands of dollars, but like, we go and we have a great time and we're able to like eat for free because we've played, and we're able to stay for free because we've played, and like, it's just a fun time. And also like that little road trip of going to the casino, and it just like gives us a night out. And so we definitely don't gamble as much as we did because we've got Brady. And also, I think I respect my money a little bit more.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I was very like just loose about my money, and I would start. I think I had a bad problem, but I would start reasoning with myself when I lost. Like, okay, like that was a $200 Diet Coke that the lady brought me, or something like that. Like, just weird shit like that, or like. I could go back to the ATM this time because like I always win on my second go round to the ATM.
Oh my God. And then that guilt, I'm like, oh my God, I don't need to pay my car this month, do I? Because I just spent it in 1 second by pressing a button. And then I think like there was one go around where we like had lost, and it was just like, oh, dude, it's like, you know how hard we have to work to get that back? Like, this shit is not fun.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we just go to every single wrestling event that Paul buys tickets
That's what I wanted to ask you about. So something that I saw with you guys is you're very passionate about it. It's WWE now, or like, is it any type of wrestling? So you guys like, I'll let you guys touch upon it a little bit, but you travel to like different WrestleManias and stuff. And I don't know if you could see, but I wore my Bret the Hitman Hart shirt today because that's my favorite wrestler.
Shut up. I almost wore my Ric Flair shirt for you, but instead I kept my work shirt on because I had to, get that plug for Jimmy John.
Yeah, Jimmy John, shout out. Even though, I never, what's up? It's not a New York thing, so I don't know where people are listening from, but like.
Well, what the fuck?
I think Subway was the shit in New York, and then like Blimpie tried to have a hot second, but Subway just rules. Even with the whole Jared shit, like. Jimmy John should have soared off. Hopefully Jimmy John's not doing this weird shit.
What the fuck? Jared gotta go, and Subway sucks. Anyway.
So how did wrestling? What like?
Okay, so like when I grew up, we're from like the Stone Cold Steve Austin era.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, somebody's actually knocking on the door.
Paul.
Oh, we have a visitor. Paul, turn the light on.
It's time to go to bed.
What's up, Paul?
Oh, can you say goodnight? Sorry, Corin.
No, it's all good, Paul. We gave you a lot of good. You're getting a lot of good brownie points on this chat, bro.
Oh, good.
Okay, say bye-bye. Bye. Good.
Bye.
I just want to give her a hug, guys.
Bye, I love you. Okay, here comes the crying. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Say goodnight.
We're on. We got.
I wish I could bring my daughter in.
Bye.
Like,
Keep the light on. Actually, she's just waving by.
Bye-bye.
Shut the door.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, thanks. There they are. That's the squad.
that was awesome. Was that rehearsed?
No, dude, that was straight. He's just coming on in. Like, that was cute. She's actually really good.
Yeah.
But did you see that outfit? That Sesame Street outfit.
Yep.
Always.
My daughter's the same way.
Sesame Street on deck. If there's any followers out here that got that Sesame Street plug, like, hit me up.
For real.
And we gotta rep my Instagram too, Corin.
Yeah, put your Instagram out to do whatever. People, I mean, I've said this to everyone who does a chat. Usually, my people in the comment section are very, very nice people.
Hopefully,
if someone tries to roast you, you got to be ready for a roast session.
Oh. Try me. Well, actually don't, but like if you do, don't worry, I'll definitely fucking roast you back.
No, everybody's supportive and nice.
So we grew up, like, obviously I had an older brother, like watching wrestling, like Bret the Hitman, Hulk Hogan. I used to do wrestling moves on our trampoline, like Stone Cold 3.
Backyard wrestling. That's like the shit.
All that. So he like got back into wrestling a couple years ago, just like watching it when like John Cena kind of came out and whatever. And I'm like, what?
This is Paul got back into it.
Paul did.
Uh-huh.
I didn't watch it I watched it when I was little, and then I started dating this boy child, Paul, and he's like, listen, I need to watch all my wrestling shows.
And you guys get into it, like the Instagram pictures, like you got the belt over your shoulders,
dude,
like
we're into that shit, bro.
T-shirts,
like, okay,
body karate.
We are so into it because it sounds so lame, but it's so much fun. Like, we won WrestleMania tickets.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So,
that's dope.
Okay, so he didn't even realize he was entered into this contest, okay? Mm-hmm. We got this sketchy ass email that was like, congratulations, and all these like emojis, and we're like, okay, what the fuck is this? And it was like, you've won a free flight, free hotel, and free tickets to WrestleMania. And we're like, okay, this is some bullshit, whatever. But it was legit. So we got flown out to New Orleans for free, stayed in a hotel for free, and got WrestleMania tickets for free. And I'm like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Like, we have to do this. And,
hell yeah.
dude, it was fun, but that shit was so long. And they ran out of beer and pizza. And
like
this
in
was
the
at
venue?
Yes, dude. This was at, like, who's the football team for New Orleans? The
Saints.
Raiders?
Saints.
Oh, my God. That was so dumb. Who are the Raiders?
Well, you said you were a basketball fan. No, Raiders are Oakland. Well, they're going to be Las Vegas soon, so.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'll go to Vegas for them then.
Yeah.
Whatever. The team that plays in New Orleans. Yeah, dude, their stadium ran out of beer. Because it's all white trash people that go.
Yeah, but to run out of beer, like, that's not heard of. Like, that should have made some national news or something like that. Like,
it was wild. It was wild. Like, you would wait in line, and I would wait in line for Paul to grab, like, 2 giant beers just to go right back in line because...
Yeah, it's nuts.
You were waiting for, like, 45 minutes. It was stupid. So, we did that, and then we went to, like, Monday Night Raw, and we sat in, like, the 3rd row, because I'm petty when it comes to concerts or anything like that. Like, I'm like... If we're not sitting in, like, the 1st row, I'm not going to that shit.
Really?
Like, yeah, dude, it's so petty. Like, he's like, oh, let's go to this. It's section 203. I'm like, if it's not front row, like, don't even entertain it. He's like, front row tickets are $5,000. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I'm
dude,
the opposite. Like, I'm just like, if I'm in the building, like, but I'm not a big concert person either, but like a sporting event, like football, whatever, I could be in the last row. I don't give a fuck as long as I'm
get me the fuck out of there. I'm trying to be on TV, bro. That's why I'm trying to be in front row. I'm petty like that.
True.
So,
and I guess it's probably a way better experience. I've never really sat like too close like that. So if I did, I'd be all up in that.
See, now, like, me and my sister saw Drake front row, and like that just fucked everything up because I'm going to be so bored. Like at WrestleMania, we had okay seats, but like I had to watch most of it on the screen, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, so when we went to Monday Night Raw, we were like on TV and like had a blast and like drinking beers and blah, blah, blah. But now there's this new like wrestling, because WWE has never really had like any competition. It's always been.
Well, WCW got hot for a second, and WCW had some competition with like NWO and all those guys.
Right. And then that kind of like
fizzled.
Closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like collapsed on itself. So now there's something called AEW, which is All Elite Wrestling. And I know I'm like, this is just Paul needs to get
I can't keep up with the new school. Like old school, dude, I could rock a little bit.
It's so okay. We went when we were just in Vegas last time. We went to the first or the second All Elite Wrestling show. And to be completely honest, like Paul is way more into it than I am. Like he's always like, oh, blah, 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 this person, that person. I'm like, okay, that sounds awesome, cool. We went to this show and I had so much fun because just the talent and the athleticism of these people was so fun to watch.
Hell
like
yeah.
It was so fun. And I am like, people are like, dude, you're such a nerd. I'm like, I had fun. Like, it doesn't matter. I had so much fun. We were like drinking beers, eating shitty like nachos, like with that cold ass cheese. But it was fun, dude.
That's almost like the better wrestling. Like I know in upstate New York, like Rockland, there's this kid I know, Matt, that like goes there, and it's just like these local guys that are wrestling, like, and those are the guys that are like putting way more on the line. Like it's real like fighting, like because they're like jumping on each other, and they might not be doing it correctly because it's some like minor league wrestling, but that's the shit where like the fans are going wild. They'll set the tables on fire, like the shit you're not going to see on cable TV because because
somebody's going to die.
Because someone will die, yes.
Yeah, but that's how like All Elite Wrestling is. Like they're going back into that like ladder matches and chairs and tables and like, so it's just fun. And you know what? It brings out like the kid in Paul. And if he's having fun and I'm having fun, like let's just fucking go, like whatever. And any opportunity for me to try to get on TV, like no problem. I'm gonna fucking soak that up. So they're coming to the Sears Center, you know, in Hoffman Estates.
Yeah.
So they're doing their like big like pay-per-view event there, and we got tickets. We follow this guy on Instagram and YouTube, and he runs a really successful like podcast like you, and he always talks about, like, he recaps all of, like, the Monday Night Raw and whatever. And now, like, Monday or WWE and AEW, they're kind of like AEW's bringing in competition for WWE. So it's kind of like bringing wrestling back. It's like it's like rivalry. It's like creating a rivalry.
Yeah, of course.
So it's fun. And Paul's like super into it. Not that like he's gonna like leave me for like some like wrestling thing, but if he has fun with it, dude, and you're coming home to me at night, I don't give a fuck what you do. Like, go have fun. Like, he just went to some like crony shit in Cicero. I'm like, first off, be careful because you're going to Cicero. Because Cicero.
Yeah, I coached the basketball game in Cicero. It was a little sus.
Dude, it's a little dank up in there. But anyway, he went and like he was like, oh my god, it was so podunk. It was like in a high school gym.
I love that shit. I love when just people are passionate about just like anything.
And so it was like the tickets were like $70 and he went with
$70 for some Cicero shit.
I know. I was like, low-key, maybe you overpaid, dude. And he was like, no, that shit was fun. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, then it was worth it.
He's like, I'm not even gonna drink. I'm just gonna go be sober. I'm like, okay, whatever. I need to have some type of liquor in me if I'm watching that shit. Like, it's long. Like, when we went to WrestleMania, dude, it was from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
That's crazy. Yeah, people don't.
Too damn long.
You watch that shit on pay-per-view, and they chop it down maybe from like I don't know, 8 to 12 at night or something like that. But I remember going to it was at Radio City Music Hall. We went to go see America's Got Talent. And like you watch it on NBC and it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. That shit was from like you had to get there at like to your point, you had to get there like 3 p.m.
Yeah.
You had to sit down until like 12 o'clock at night. You got like no bathroom breaks. They like did editing. Like if Howard Stern said something weird, they had to cut back. And by the end of the shit, you were like hungry. You had to pee.
I'm fucking done.
Yeah, you were shot. So it's like it's on TV. It's nice, but when you're at the event, sometimes that shit gets super long.
And like that's how WrestleMania was. I'm like, dude, we're not done yet. Like I'm now over this. We've been here for 8 hours. I'm done. And he's like, oh, I think we have like 2 more hours left. He's like, no, it's 4. I'm like, oh Jesus. So I try to be that like, and Paul's always like, oh, you're like the cool wife that like goes to all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, but just can we get front row tickets next time?
I give you a lot of credit because Molly's the same way. Like every time we're in a different city, like I want to go to a sporting event, and she'll be like, I'll go to the game, but we're leaving at the 6th inning or something like that. So the fact that you even stay for the whole shit is like,
I'm not going to no baseball game though because that shit can last till the last baseball game.
They are boring as fuck too.
Dude, it was a White Sox game. That shit was 17 innings.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Why? This is a 12-hour game. I don't need to be here. It's fucking raining. I don't want to be here.
So some of my best memories are when I was younger and watched WWF. And like I said, Bret the Hitman Hart was my favorite wrestler. There was also a guy named Tatanka. Was like some stereotypical like Native American dude who would just run around the stage and like be like, whoa. Probably like some Italian dude.
Shit.
Yeah. Like wrestling is the OG because they're just like racist as fuck, but like it's sort of allowed because they're racist to everybody.
Yes.
Is there who's your favorite wrestler and who's Paul's favorite wrestler?
My favorite wrestler of all time is Stone Cold, like by far, like that.
He was a go-to-mind. He and The Rock came out with a book at like the same time, and I bought both of their books. I think I read like a couple chapters of The Rock's one, but I think I still have like they must have sold a lot of those books because it was just they came out at the same time. The Rock was on the cover with his arms up.
Yeah. Stone
Cold, same shit with the beer or whatever. And
you know that for our wedding, that was our wedding entrance.
With the glass breaking?
Stone Cold's music.
Yeah, that's classic.
And we stood on chairs and then we like
clashed
our beers together. And literally Paul like didn't give a shit about any of our wedding. He's like, this is the one thing that I'm gonna control. I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that. And then we did that shit, bro.
That's awesome. Awesome.
It was cool.
I love seeing like the wrestling shit you guys go to because it's just cool that you guys can do that together. Like, yeah,
it's just fun. Like it's like any like sporting event. Like one of my good friends, Melissa, and her husband, they always go to Cubs game throughout the summer, and I'm like, ew to that. I don't want to go to any type of baseball game, but like more power to you. If you guys have so much fun doing that, then do it. Like. Yep. Do stuff with your husband. Like that's how you keep it like alive. Like even if we like got into arguments when we were on vacation or whatever, it's like, dude, let's do this shit. Let's have fun. Like let's show people that you can not, like, you can do fun shit. Like, yeah, I'm 30, but I'm about to go scream like a little girl when these wrestlers come out with their little bikinis on. Dudes, when you can see their big ass nutsack.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm all about it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I was a fan, and like I've got boys that are still all about it, but I don't know. I don't have the time to really watch, like, not even have the time, but like I just don't have energy to like really get behind some shit. Like I like the Knicks a lot, but I don't know. I don't know how you guys have the energy to even like do some wrestling shit, because like
I don't watch none of that shit. He just fills me in on that. I'm like, what are you doing on your phone? He's like, I'm just reading up. I'm like, reading up on what? He's like, on my guys. I'm like, okay, dude, do what you got to do.
I give him
and then
a lot
I'm
of
like,
credit.
I'm like cooking or whatever. He's a reading teacher, so he'll read anything, and I'm like trying to like do stuff, and he's like, so my boy Kenny is wrestling, but I'm like, who's Kenny?
Is he
and
big
like,
on correcting your grammar as like a reading teacher? Because my brother like does that all the time. He's not even.
He literally goes, stop cursing all the time. You curse too much. I'm like, you're fucking screwed, dude, because that's just what I do. No, he's okay. I mean, he probably like, him and my sister read all the time, and they always.
That's what I was gonna say. Does he read a lot of books?
Oh my God. Like, he reads constantly. Like, when he goes to the bathroom, I literally say, okay, see you in 45 minutes.
Really?
He's like, I go the first 5 minutes, and then like literally he reads.
What is he reading? Because like I've never been a reader.
He's reading a book about the World's Fair right now, and like it was in Chicago or some shit, but there was like some.
Shout out! I think it started in New York. Low-key, fall back on the Chicago.
Yeah, but then that shit sucked, dude. So they had to bring it to Chicago. So
I think it's the reverse. Ask Paul about that shit. I think it started in Chicago, maybe. Then they came to New York and was the World's Fair in Queens.
Somebody in the comments needs to correct it.
Someone correct that. I think Queens was the poppin' one. In Chicago, that shit was slayed.
No, dude, because okay, well, Corin, we're gonna get into our first argument. So congratulations.
We'll get fact checked by someone. Ask Paul when we're done. I'm curious. I think New York was the poppin' one. They might have both been popping, but New York shit was like, that was the one that people are like, if you were at the New York World's Fair.
That's when they brought Chicago pizza to New York, and New York was like, we're fucking this shit up.
Yeah. No, but I'm curious, like, what, and maybe I could ask Paul, but like, I'm always fascinated by what people are reading. Like, my wife will pick up a book, and I'm just like, there's so many fucking books out there.
Oh my God. Like, that's literally how, so I think he likes more, oh my God, like, I think my sister likes more, like, accurate books. She's a history teacher, like, AP teacher, so she likes very, like, historic books, where Paul will pick up, like, fantasy, like, even, like, more, like, kids, I don't want to say kids' age books, but, like, he wouldn't mind reading Harry Potter.
Okay.
He likes to read things that he can correlate to with his students, like, offering them some types of books to read, but he's just a reader, dude, and I have never been like that. Like, I'm like, I guess I need something that interests me that I want to read about. Like, I only have books about, like, serial killers. Seriously, that sounds awful, but, like, that's, like, what I'm interested in. Because if it's something that, like, I'm not going to read a book about cars, I'm never going to finish that book.
Do you listen to any podcasts or watch any of those shows? Like, did you watch or listen to the Serial podcast?
I watched the
one on HBO?
Yeah, like, and I always am like, listen, I'll watch it. I'm not going to fucking read the book about it.
Yeah.
And Paul's like, no, the book is always better. I'm like, well, tell me about the book. And he's so good. Like, I tell him, I go, I don't even need to read, because the way that you storytell is so good. Like, I'm like, tell me more, because he can just describe things so well that it's a really nice attribute to have, because I can't do that. I'm always, like, very much bouncing all over the place, where he's very, like...
He's always seemed... I mean, even the small interactions I've had with him at the gym was just, like... It always seems like something's moving in there. Like, he's very thoughtful in his answers, or the way he's, like, thinking about something. That's probably why he was he was a point guard, right? I mean, like, you have to be on some next level thinking shit of where you're going to pass the ball, or, like, who to pass it to.
Or not pass it.
Or not pass it to.
He's that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a good teacher, and I'm not saying that to toot his horn. He is a very good teacher, and a lot of his coworkers and people that know of Paul, and I feel like if you're good at your job, like, no matter what you do, you should take pride in that. You should be able, and I think that he can definitely agree when saying that he's a good teacher. And my dad was an educator, my sister's a teacher, my husband's a teacher. It's a lot of fucking work. Like,
Yeah, my
enjoy
father
your
was a
fun.
teacher. My brother's a teacher.
Yeah.
And my Molly's sister's a teacher. And yeah, to their point, it's just like every day they're an actor or actress. Every day you got to get up in front of that class and perform. And like you might not have it one day, or like, you know, Paul, like Brady might have shit on Paul one morning or something.
Dude.
He still got to go to work, put a smile on his face, and like try to educate kids, which is a tough thing to do.
And like high school kids who are like in reading, like they don't want to fucking read. Like they want to be on Facebook. It's like, you don't even know how to spell, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you need to know how to read a book. How are you going to graduate?
Yep.
You need to know how to read. Like, so we read so many books to Brady, like just constantly, even if it's like over and over and over again. I'm like, girl, you need to read, because that's how, like, I remember reading to my dad when I was little. And, like, I feel like that's just how you learn. Like, you just get smart by reading new words and seeing like different like pictures and things like that. So he's legit. He's a good guy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've got no
need to
doubts
have
about
him
that.
on your podcast.
He's more than welcome to come on.
So he can talk about all the good things about me.
Yeah.
I'm really just boosting his self-esteem right here.
Oh,
No,
Paul,
unfortunately, he doesn't have Instagram. So.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I respect him for that. He's like, I try to have no Twitter for a while, but then like once I was doing the podcast with Kyle,
You gotta have it.
yeah, it was like people were like writing shit to me, and like I'm like the bottom fucking barrel of like anything, but like people would say like, what's Corin's handle or something like that. So like
Yeah.
I got on Twitter, and then I was off Facebook for a hot minute, but then I brought it back just because with our daughter and our family in New York, it's like
Of
good
course.
connecting. But I give Paul a lot of credit to like not get the urge of like wanting to be on social
Dude,
media.
he's
and
never, and I don't think he ever will. I mean, I think he utilizes like my stuff to, like, he literally will only go on Instagram just to save memes. Like, he doesn't care about.
But like, does he feel like he ever misses it? Like, I feel like I pick up news on Twitter or something like that.
You know what? I'm sorry. He has Twitter. I don't use it. Like, I started it a long time ago, but he uses my Twitter to look up, guess what, wrestling stuff or just like news articles about basketball and stuff like that. So I forgot that he does utilize Twitter, but it's not like him, like he doesn't post pictures or like anything like that. He just uses it to get
the information he needs.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I think Instagram, like, that's my comedic relief. Like, I love Instagram just to be like funny and laid back, because I feel like it's a little bit, I don't really use Facebook anymore. Like, that's true for family and stuff like that, but I kind of like Instagram because I like just the way of like pictures and shit. I don't know.
I know, I'm the same way. I like pictures.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch upon? I'm getting summoned by my wife to use
oh my God, we talked for so long. Plus, like, this was so cool, Corin. I'm so glad that you asked me to do
appreciate
this.
you coming on.
Okay, can I please say that we haven't seen each other in a long time, and to be able to like bounce into a conversation, that means like you're legit, dude.
Thanks, I appreciate that. And that's what I was gonna say to you was like, I appreciate you just being like, yeah, fuck it, like, yeah, I'll talk. Like,
I know, I'm like, dude, censor your stuff because people are gonna be like, she swears so much, but it's just me. Like, I'm sorry.
No, that was totally fine. I thank you, because I've had boys that I'm like, you want to chat, and then like we'll start it up, and they're like, yo, so what? I just get on there and like talk. Like, you were free to talk.
You just fucking shoot the shit.
Paul got a nice little like 20-minute.
Oh
like,
my God,
you're gonna have ladies hitting you up for his number and stuff like that. You gotta be
What's
worried.
up? His name is Paul, and he's married. But if you got money,
yeah, we could work something out. Jill, thank you.
Just Instagram me, and I'll find a day that you can take
what
them
is
out.
you want to tell people your handle? You want people following you?
The Curious Jill. Put it in the comments or whatever, your little.
Okay, yeah, I'll figure out how to do that. Molly uploads everything and does all that. She's my guru, tech genius.
Oh my God, she's so smart.
Thank you, Jill. Appreciate it. Oh, that was fun. Dude. Thanks for talking.
Yeah, of course. So what? We just log off from here?
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna end.